Hello and welcome to No Boundaries Mother and Daughter Edition. This is a podcast in which we, a mother and daughter duo, discuss controversial topics, pop culture, social topics, while also exploring our mother and daughter bond. And, we have no boundaries. We talk about anything we want and like. And I'm the mother, and my name is Anusha.
And I'm the daughter, and my name is Lulu.
Yes, and today we are going to talk about a topic that kind of came up in our previous episode. We spoke about Olandria. Check out our episode. We had an episode about Huda, about is it safe if you're so emotional to be in a show like that. We had an episode, we just also recorded an episode about the three evil light-skinned men of Love Island Games and also about Olandria. And during that episode, we kind of spoke about what kind of men, strong men, are not afraid to go for a strong woman. And we kind of explained homosocial, and that kind of, we got a lot of great reactions on that. On TikTok especially, that people were like, oh my God, that word, I know what you're talking about, but I was always looking for a word for that. And we thought, let's explore that word.
Yeah.
Shall I start with the definition, the official definition that I found? Okay, so the official definition, bear with me, it's a little long. Homosocial describes social relationships and bonds between people of the same sex and distinguished from homosexual relationships by not implying any sexual attraction. It can manifest in exclusive same sex communities or institutions like all male clubs, single sex colleges, and fraternities, fostering social dynamics that can either reinforce or challenge traditional gender norms. The term is often used in gender studies to analyze how men maintain hegemonic masculinity and the formation of male solidarity, and how similar dynamics can exist among women in womances, for example. So, socially considered, just to make it simple,
Yeah.
it means you have a strong bond with your own sex without it being physical or sexual, but it's highly emotional.
Mhm.
And as it says in this kind of difficult definition, that's been fostered for ages, for generations, for hundreds, for even thousands of years amongst men. So exclusive men clubs are a dime a dozen. It took we had to catch up 2,000 years. So basically, from the Bible and Christianity in the West, I'm talking about specifically the West now. The male bond has always been centered, right? Women were not allowed to even to go to colleges. Women were not allowed to work. Women are not to vote. Women were literally socially and economically a minority and dependent on men. So men always grouped together. So to me personally, homosocial says more about men, and we can maybe learn from that because we don't have it enough, and we should have it enough. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But just to make it easier, we're basically talking about a conversation we had last week where we made a claim that most men don't actually like women. They like having a girlfriend to show off to their friends. They like getting their sexual needs met, but they don't actually like women as individuals, as human beings. And that's what we're going to explore today. And that's what's referred to as homosocial. And that was the more complex definition and the roots of it, which comes from the colonization, inequality, internalized misogyny, all of that. But basically, a lot of guys, without ever like realizing it, get all their romantic needs from their friends, from their male friends, from other men, not from their girlfriend. And they don't even feel that need. I have so many girlfriends, like girls who are friends, guys, not girlfriends, girlfriends, who struggle with, for example, their boyfriend not being thoughtful, not taking them on dates, not wanting to do activities, and just always kind of want to staying at home watching videos and like do the deed. And that's because a lot of guys, they genuinely don't feel that need. They don't feel that urge to take a woman out because they get all their fun with their friends. Like they don't actually like women as individuals other than the things I just mentioned.
Yeah.
And that's a very big problem right now. And I was happy to see on TikTok that so many people were relating to this and that it's not just like an us thing. Like this is a thing that's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, going on dates is just one small example of it, but there's way more ways that it shows as well.
You had a great example about a friendship when you kind of started. You were with the three of you, and you opened up a conversation, and that kind of like made your friend realize, oh my God, I never even have these kind of talks.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, basically we were having a conversation, the three of us, and then I'm an oversharer and I talk about deep things easily. So the topic of like assault came up, sexual assault. And then one guy opened up, her boyfriend opened up about how when he was 13 or 12, he got assaulted by like a 17-year-old woman, which is also another story that I hear a lot from specifically like guys in New York City who grew up in rougher areas. So that's another thing I would like to research one day for sure. But anyways, that's not important. The point is that he opened up about that story, and after that, my friend told me how like whoa, like she had been with him for like 2 or 3 years by this time, and she'd never heard the story, never heard him open up like that, and all it took was one conversation. And yeah, that's another part of it where a lot of men they don't even speak to their girlfriend, they don't ask their girlfriend questions, they don't get to know their girlfriend because again, they don't feel that need, they don't have that in them where they're like, ooh, I want to know this person in and out, I want to know who she is. No, they just care that she's nice, she listens, and she's hot, and the boyfriend, the friends approve, and she makes you come. Like literally, that's all they care about. And I think a lot of things that we often see on reality TV specifically, that brings me back to real life, is where, for example, a guy likes a girl based off looks, first impression. Then that girl turns out to have a very strong, independent personality. And then we see another girl come in who is also gorgeous, but super boring, barely any personality. And just that you think, and then I found myself, my friends, when we watched that happen, the guy always dumps the girl who's like interesting for the boring girl. And a lot of times we're like, why would he go with this boring girl? What does he see in her? This girl's so cool. She's so fun. She's so independent. Why is he with this boring girl who like it's not funny, just does whatever he says? That's why, because they don't actually like women as individuals. They don't like when women have a personality and a character and have a say. They like women for the idea of having a girlfriend, not because they actually are interested in you as a character.
Yeah, no, completely. And I remember because as some of you have listened to other show episodes of us know, I was raised by a socialist mom. Like my mom was born and raised in the Soviet Union, and that's like women and men were completely equal. So of course there were a lot of flaws. Don't want to debate the good and bad of the system, but one good thing of the system was like there was completely equal pay, and it was total transparency also on salaries, right? So everybody knew what everybody was paid, and the salaries were completely the same. So it was completely normal for women to have very high level positions. So like my grandmother was like practically the main director of the facility that made sure that the whole country had gas and energy. So can you imagine, as a woman, that was completely normal. But she was also at home doing all the cooking, doing all the cleaning, right? So I'm not talking that it wasn't a misogynistic society. But anyway, because all the women were working and studying, women talked all the time. So I was raised with women talking to men, explaining stuff, being kind of like equal. So I'll never forget when I had my first boyfriend, the first argument we had was literally this. So we were together only a couple of weeks. So we were completely still smitten and lovey-dovey and cute. And I remember we were on the phone, good old days on the phone talking. And he was complaining about something in school or something he was going through. And I, as you know, as I always do, Lulu, started giving him advice. I'm an advice giver. I'm always like, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? So I was like trying to, build him up and tell him what to do. And he literally said, I'm going to stop you now because you know what? Stop. I don't appreciate you telling me what to do. And that was literally within the first 2 weeks of us, being young and in love. So that, and I remember like completely shutting down and being like, oh my God, what have I done? Oh my God, how horrible, that. So I was not allowed. So the rules were made very clear in the first couple of weeks already. Don't think you can tell me. And even with male friends, the biggest arguments I've had with male friends was always about this, about me trying to tell them like, hey, but why don't you, or I don't agree with, or shouldn't we look at this like, and then bam, shutting down. It's really, it's so prevalent. It's everywhere. And even I can imagine in workspaces, I think women always have to be so careful. You always see that, joking about it, even on TikTok, how to say to your male manager what might be a better idea as to not offend this man. It's actually pretty tiring, isn't it?
It's so tiring. Yeah.
Come to think of it. Oh.
No, definitely. Yeah, it's just bizarre how like a lot of men, they don't actually like women. And I know this because Like my mom, I got it from her. I have a very strong
Sorry.
personality. On top of that, I'm a lesbian, so I do not care what men think of me. I don't care if they hate me, find me annoying. But even before I came out and realized I was gay, I always had issues with men. And I used to make a joke in one of my podcasts. I even made a joke about how, like, when I wanted to get rid of a man who wouldn't stop bothering
Yeah.
me, I would literally start talking about gay rights, abortion, female rights, whatever. That'll do it. Because literally, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They don't. And another common thing that I've realized, a pattern in my life, is that during high school specifically, almost all my close girlfriends, boyfriends hated me. They hated me. They didn't like
Oh.
me. And that's because they knew I clocked
Yeah.
them. I clocked them and I called them out for their stuff. And they knew that the things that their girlfriend isn't seeing, I am seeing them. And I would make them uncomfortable. And I called them out in the spot.
Yeah.
And I realized over the years as well, like, which sucks, but I realized as getting older and as like arguing with men that it doesn't there's only one way to respond that it actually gets to them, and it's not telling them the right way to do it, because like you said, they don't like to get told what to do. Educating, they don't like, because then you're this angry feminist woman, oh, here she goes again complaining about politics. Like, it doesn't work. The only thing that works in my experience is just making them feel stupid or belittling them by embarrassing them with a joke or setting them up for a joke. And once I started doing that, guys leave me alone. They don't try it with me anymore because they know I'm gonna embarrass you in front of all your little friends, because that they care about if you embarrass them in front of your friends.
Mm.
They don't care about what the actual political views. They care about, oh
Yeah.
my god, are my friends laughing at me, or am I the funny one, and do I look cool? Like, they're only worried about male validation, literally.
Male validation is most and most important. And as you know, your dad is absolutely a very strong, intellectual, smart, never a guy who's very secure in himself. But even he, like, I've caught him
Has moments, yeah.
that I literally said to him, I told you this 2 months ago. But then when a male colleague or someone or friend said the same thing, he comes back to you like, oh my God, you know what so and so said? I'm like,
Yeah.
we spoke about this 2 months. So he knows that because, like we discussed in the Olandria episode, my husband admits to this. He completely admits to, yeah, I have very strong homosocial tendencies. All my friends do. And gay men I spoke with said, explained the same to me, like, oh yeah, I have to fight my own internalized sexism as well as a gay man to also develop intellectual or, emotional relationships with women.
Yeah.
Because I crave male validation even on, on two levels, of course, socially, culturally, emotionally,
And straight
and
guys.
also sexually.
Yeah.
And especially you want, a lot of the gay men want to be also accepted by straight men.
Yeah. And women have the same. It's
Women
always
have the same.
going out for parties, waiting
Yes.
for a guy coming up to you. And I have a lot of friends that if no guy comes up to them, they literally didn't have a good night out. When it's like,
Yeah.
like, it's so male centered.
So
The whole world is.
Yeah, yeah.
For women, men, everyone. So yeah. And yeah, that brings up an important point about gay men, because this podcast, I spoke to you about this. This blew my brain when he explained it.
Yeah.
And I never forgot about this. It makes so much sense. And he basically said the reason that there's so much aggression towards gay men and why all these straight guys hate gay men is not because they're gay men. It's because they're feminine and they hate femininity and they hate women. Oh my gosh. And he explained it and it made so much sense, where he's like, think about it. It's the reason gay men get hated on is because they're girly, they're wearing a dress, they're talking like a girl, they're acting like a girl, they're wearing makeup, they're wearing wigs. Everything that reminds them of women is the exact reason why they hate gay men. That's what they mean when they say, I don't mind gay men, I just don't like when they show it or put it all in your face. They're not talking about you like fucking a guy in front of, no. They're talking about being girly and acting gay,
feminine, yeah.
which is basically being feminine.
Yeah.
And that's how far the hate for men goes, that this whole gay community is getting hate because it reminds them of women.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, because I know a lot of gay guys who are like more hetero presenting, or they seem more like straight, and they have straight friends, and it's fine because they're not showing their gay side, aka being like, hey queen, who did that? Women do that. So literally, men hate femininity, which is why they hate gay men.
It's so interesting. And I mean, I want to talk, I don't know if that's a step too far, but have you noticed recently that whole Groyper community thing and online, and how, there's like incel culture and community, they hate women so much that they kind of groom boys online to become like sort of like femboys.
Yeah.
So what happens even like in the online community, in the like deep incel community, like the same that happens in jails, is because they just only communicate with each other. They kind of start grooming certain guys into becoming a little bit more feminine. So then they kind of have like relationships with them. So they don't have to have relationships with women.
I didn't know about that.
Oh
No.
my God. Yeah. I've seen a lot of it on TikTok. So that's like in the very deep incel community, that kind of even happens. So that they'd rather have sort of like relationships with each other because then at least it's still a man.
Yeah.
But a feminine man, or that can at least satisfy some of their needs, and they don't have to go to women.
Wow.
What happens, when men are in jail, for years or for a while, they also hook up with, because if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with. Yeah, it's
The
fascinating.
hate for women goes far, 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 far.
Yeah,
Which is what we mean when we say guys like girls, they don't actually like women. Like,
no,
they just not
it's
even
so
girls.
interesting.
They
And
like the idea
they
of a
want-
girlfriend.
They like to own, or like have like a gorgeous girl who's like fits in this kind of box, personality, everything, and body,
and who laughs at all their jokes.
Laughs at all joke and just walks with
and lets
them.
them go out with the friends.
Yeah.
And they play video games with their friends, go out with their friends, have a blast, talk unfiltered about everything. And once they're with their girlfriend, they're silent. And then the girls are like, why is he not opening up? Why is he not talking to me? Because he's doing that with his guy friends.
Yeah. And it's maybe a little bit different in Europe, because we said before
Very different
was born
generation.
in the Netherlands. It's a little different there, but even there now, that argument I explained to you was with a Dutch guy with a working mom, so it's even still there. And maybe it's more like in humor that they don't take girls to, they always joke around with girls, or like girl. So even though the hatred is not as aggressively presenting as maybe in the United States, because everything here is always more aggressively presenting, because this is a very different and much harsher society, as we keep reiterating. It's, we come, of course, from a different perspective, but even there, it's still there. And you see it also, like, if you look at Love Island UK, right?
Yeah.
Can you explain how, like, we spoke a little
UK,
bit.
it's big, yeah.
Yeah, it's big.
In the Netherlands, it's not that big. And I would say that it is definitely a country where I truly believe that men and women are actually friends without it being any kind of like the guy wants the girl or whatever. Like the Netherlands is one of the few countries where I actually see like male and female friendships that are genuine friendships and not just like the guys low-key trying to hit and just keeping her around, like literally. But in the Netherlands, I think the only times where I felt it was very present was in classrooms, workspaces, like anything that had to do with like actual like power, like more like academically or like money wise. Yeah, then it'll show you the true cards of these men.
Yeah.
But with friendship, it was a bit more like neutral, I would say.
Yeah, makes sense. So I was thinking while we were talking, remember the movie Gone Girl? How now that movie even resonates even more, because the film Gone Girl, we'll put it in the show notes. It's about a woman who plans her killing, but she stays alive, and she frames her husband because she just wants to see how her husband goes down, right? And I don't know if you read the book, but it's right? It starts, there's a beautiful switch around that you like understand her at the end. I think that book really explains really well how, as a woman, you always have to be the cute, nice, funny, sexy, not too loud, not too, right? And how that is like eating her up, how that tires her. And she's the bad girl, right? She's the villain.
She's the psycho. She's the sick girl. Everyone hates her.
Yeah. So it's so interesting. It's actually interesting cultural reference to what we're speaking about. Kind of like, So what I also find interesting, I grew up when hip hop music and rap music came up, right? It started in the 80s, and I just literally remember this new genre coming up and like being so excited and loving it, and the energy and the lyrics. And, I grew up with Public Enemy, political hip hop and Tribe Called Quest, and like incredible. And then like in the 90s, I never forget when NWA came up, and it was energetic, electrifying,
and Biggie, right?
Yeah, but for me, I remember personally when NWA, that was like, because there was like this anger, and also against the police and against the system, which was wow, to listen to. But with that came, and I think even more aggressive than with Biggie, I think. With Biggie, it was more like sexual, but there came like this aggression. And I remember the hatred against women in NWA music. And in one song that they literally pew pew, you hear them, unaliving a girl like in one of their songs.
I mean, like for real, they were on a live?
No.
Oh, it's like what? You said literally.
No, so they put it literally in the song, but just even the idea,
Yeah.
Guys have an idea. You know what we're gonna do in this recording? We're gonna pretend that we're shooting a girl, in the back of a car after we all slept with her. Like really, that just the idea of young guys in their early 20s coming up with that idea and deciding to record that and to bring that out to the public, to the world. And it was accepted. There were, of course, white people were like, oh, terrible, horrible, and, aggressive because it was black men. But an industry was born on that. An industry on demeaning, devaluating, and being aggressive towards women, and especially towards black women. I mean, that was actually the birth of that, in my personal. So I could be completely wrong culturally, but when I realized that, like, oh my God.
And in general, you experienced the switch, how like rap originally was like a poetic way to like stand up for rights.
Yes.
And how that shifted into bitch, pussy, money.
Yeah.
Fuck women, fuck bitches.
F them and kill them.
Yeah.
And how everybody was.
Women are sluts. And
and I would too at a club, like, because the beats are very addictive, like you said.
Like some of the rappers are really good.
And there's also the other energy, and it's so problematic to be a woman and to love rap, and there's not a lot of other options. Because they took over completely.
Like you have to search, like a deep dive search, if you want to find a rap song from a guy in 2025 where he doesn't degrade women or refers to them as bitches. Like, I don't even think if I know any of 2025.
No, 2025, I don't know, but you just sent me something from Lil Wayne where he talks about, making love, but without dirty
being
words.
Degrading, yeah.
Without being degrading.
But Lil Wayne is, he's a very good rapper. And that's an old song. That's not from 2025.
So 2025, I don't know. Yeah.
No.
Hardly.
And it's like, the danger of it is how desensitized we are to it. Like it's literally, I'm guilty. I'm a victim of it. I love rap music. I still listen to rap, and they're mostly negatively about women. And it's like, it's kind of like this button that you just have to turn off, because it's either that or you can't even listen to rap at all. And rap is a vibe. It gets me pumped for the gym. It gets me active. I get to dance to it. Like, it's a vibe. So it sucks. It's literally something I have to tune out.
Yeah.
Or I just can't listen to any rap. And I'm grateful that the recent years, female rap has been up and coming, and female rap has been bigger than ever.
Amazing.
And they're really taking over. And in the beginning, it was rough for the female rappers because, again, the same reason that men get an industry and get built on as rappers, women got hated on for they're using their bodies to like make reviews. They're just twerking. They're sluts. They're just only talking about sex. And they're only trying to like use their bodies and sex for money. And I'm like, first of all, who set that system up?
Yes, thank you.
Who set that system up? Y'all did, okay? First of all. Second of all, okay, at least they're talking about their own fucking bodies and their own experiences without fucking degrading other people. Like,
they're not degrading
let them
men.
talk about whatever the fuck they like in bed. Shit, at least they know what they want and they get their orgasms, which many women don't even get. Like,
that's the whole episode.
Shout out to that. So literally, I can't. The audacity for them to even complain when it's like, have you heard any male rap song? Y'all wouldn't even have a fucking industry if it wasn't for us.
I'm always like, can you leave us out of it?
Literally.
What would they rap about?
Like, what would you rap about if you can't rap about us?
Yeah.
Just money, money, money.
Yeah.
But what's it for if you can't spend the money on bitches, right? And at the strip club.
No, it's unbelievable, and it's literally $1 billion international industry.
Yes.
Based on that, and we all accept it. So, as we think about like solutions, right? We try to how can we as women, because it's ingrained in the full cultural experience. If you grow up, you always see guys, boys, boys being boys, and all the movies. Oh, there's always, even in every whatever relationship, whatever funny teenage trope, it's always the guys are friends. Oh, there's always a mean girl. Oh, boo, boo, boo. But then one girl, that's the guy. That's usually still always the story.
And the girls hate each other and,
And
they're
the girls
fighting
hate
over the
each other.
guys.
Yeah, whereas that's not how real life. I mean, we all know as women what incredible female friendships we have, what incredible female bonds you have. You told me before the
And
show.
how understanding we are, and how that's one thing my friends and I always praise, where it's like, we would never, like, you blame the guy who's cheating on you, not the girl who didn't even know about you. Like, what? They don't owe you anything.
Yeah, and now with reality TV and all, they always try to keep feeding that narrative, even if it's not true. So we know now, because of social media, that even in like shows like Love Island, Love is Blind, whatever, the girls have incredible friendships. They don't show that, they don't edit it that way. So still our whole system is set up on that way, that the guys are guys and we see like bromance and the boys are being friends and the girls. Whereas it's just not true in real life. Like Love Island season 6, PPG was an amazing example that they only showed like 10% of the incredible friendship the girls were building in all those weeks.
And literally the only reason they started showing it more is because the fans loved it so much, and at the end of the day they care more about getting revenue, getting money, and getting the fans. And I think that's why Love in the USA season 6 got so big and was so popular, because for the first time we got to watch women thrive, women grouping together, women sticking up for each other, even if they were going for the same guy, women supporting each other. That's the first time we saw in reality TV. And that made a switch that they now continued on to Love Island season 7 and the games now. And I believe that's why the Love Island is now as successful as it is, because predominantly, literally 90% probably of reality TV shows viewers are women. So I don't know why they never understood, and nobody, that's how you know how male-centered it is. No one ever thought to center it more about women. Because
I have a theory.
Mainly women watch the reality TV, and now that it is about women, it's the biggest it's ever been.
Yeah, I have a weird theory about it. I think because misogyny is so ingrained in us, because, you know, I used to watch a lot of Bravo shows as well, all the whole Real Housewives series, because I love the humor, I love the jokes, but I'm so tired of the narrative of the women always arguing. Like every season.
Over guys.
Or just petty, like annoying jealousy about a birthday party or about a watch, or it's so terrible. And I understand that those women kind of like play up to it because it's a career. They build a career, they have their own social media brands after that. It makes sense that you want to be back in that show. Plus they feel more, so you always hope to, you know, show other stuff. But the editors or the production team, the network, they choose that trope of women hate women, women hate women. And I think still, because it's still ruled by men. It's still ruled by men. And a lot of the producers who are on the field may be gay men, but as we just, you know, our conclusion was they're still men, you know, so they, you know, look at it from that, through another lens. And because women are not enough on these really important, powerful positions of deciding what we see, everything is still watched through a very misogynist lens. And we still eat it up because, you know, I don't know if you know that as a gay woman, but I always experienced it as a Black woman, you take what you can get, right?
Oh, yeah.
You take what you can get. So if I want to see beautiful Black women, I'll watch Housewives of Atlanta, even though I'm so tired of the arguments. At least I see the fashion, the fun, the jokes, the memes, you know. What are you going to do?
No, literally. You take what you can get. I mean, as a lesbian, 100% I relate. Because for my lesbians out there, first of all, only in big cities you'll find lesbian clubs, and there's maybe only 2 or 3 that you can go to, and even those men still come and bother you. And on top of that, the movies, lesbian representation is so bad. Like literally, this past week I've watched 3 lesbian films, and all of them I gave 1 or 2 stars because they were so horrible. But yet, and I know they're going to be horrible. And yet I still watch them because at least I'm watching some type of representation. It's that, or I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, same with me. So again, I'm so annoyed. I mean, I used to love the Housewives of Miami because that was at least also a lot of fun and they're real friends. And now they've also become like petty arguments, whatever. It's so painful. But if I want to watch women my age thriving, being successful, looking hot, you know, because as you know, over 30, it stops. Women sort of like don't exist anymore. Literally actresses who are like 40 play mothers of men who are 7 years younger. Right? It's completely normal. So if I want to see women my age thrive and look kind of cute and hot and whatever, that That's
No, and
what there
have an
is.
actual life
Yeah,
that
and not
doesn't
just being the
revolve around a
mom.
mom.
Yeah,
I
no.
literally I make films sometimes for my class because I'm in a film program, and I had these two actors that I hired, and one was the daughter and one was the mom because it was a mother daughter scene, and the mom, I don't know how old she's in real life, but she was telling me how like literally she's been doing acting for like the past 5 years, and she switched to film because she was in theater before, and she's literally saying that I could you not, in these 5 years, I've only ever been casted or had a callback for mom roles. That's like the only option at my age. And it made me feel bad because she's also a mom role in my film. And I was like, wow, like that's so true, honestly. Like women of her age, they really always have to be like some type of mom or a widow or something.
Yeah. Whereas that is completely not the reality in real life. So okay, we are not, unfortunately, still not in position of power. I think social media is opening up a lot, right? It's changing a lot, especially the creators, the female creators of all ages I see on TikTok. It's incredible. So let's just keep supporting each other, following each other, hype each other up, and focus maybe also on short form content where we at least, there is representation in that. Don't you think you can find everything?
Yeah.
What else, so you are in film school now, but you're also studying psychology because, yeah, the film industry, we don't know where we're going.
It's iffy.
I'm in the film industry. I'm trying to get a movie made, and it's with two women in the main parts are two women, and they're both over, both over 40, and yeah, we're fighting very hard to make it. So we are working both in our ways on at representation. It's really, really important, but it's a tough industry, and you just have to know, like, even with a movie, it can take about 10 years to get your dream movie made. It's just the way it is. Also, I mean, yeah, especially for women,
Yeah.
I should say. But we have to keep on keeping on. We have to keep
Yeah.
fighting. And I believe writing is the key. If we look at books and literature, you can also self-publish. There's a lot of freedom in writing. I'm also working now on my next book, and I'm going to be writing about my mom and my relationship with my mom, and especially when she was over 40, that period of my childhood of looking at her and trying to communicate with her. And yeah, a woman over 40 is going to be the main character.
And I have to say, as controversial as TikTok is, I think right now TikTok is the way to go. I think it's the best way to really open your mind to other views. And I think I've never been exposed to as many like interesting like theories and like social political moments and histories as through TikTok.
Yeah.
Because that's the only place where you get an algorithm based on the things you're interested in.
Yeah.
And it's literally, you can get access to like academic stuff that they don't teach you in school. Like in school where they only have one page about slavery. Like then on TikTok you have people that really go into the archives and have dedicated their life and probably don't make any money. And now they finally get to and educate people on like the real history and also benefit money-wise from their research that they've put in. And I even see so many like female doctors and psychologists who come onto TikTok to analyze like women this, misogyny this from like a psychology perspective, which is inspiring for me to see as somebody who wants to do psychology, because you don't get to really explore that in the actual field. You don't. Like you have all these rules and clients and patients, and it's so cool that they're using their tools that they went to school for all these years to not only like help people with mental illnesses, but also help like women of color, like the media. Just their whole view is so unique, and it's so amazing because they like there's so many tools that we have as women in school that we never get to use because there's no career for it. And TikTok allows you to all of a sudden have a career for that. Absolutely. So I think TikTok is the way to go for sure.
Female creators, let's support each other. Let's follow all those female creators. And my friend Mariam Elmasluge, shout out to Mariam Elmasluge, I made a podcast with her for 7 years, Dipsaus podcast. She coined the amazing phrase. She calls it University of TikTok. Really, I think that's such a good one. There's so much, but so look at that. Get your own algorithm. I don't know what's going to happen when American companies are going to take over.
And Israeli.
So for now, we're safe. We can watch.
But I'm confident, like the army we built on TikTok, especially like the political army on the left side, it's so big and strong. And I've never seen so many women come forward and like speak on these topics. Like it's beautiful to see. So I'm confident that we're gonna find a new app. Like if it gets taken over by the wrong people, I'm confident we're gonna find another app to speak. Like I feel like we're on such a like thriving roll right now. Like we're not done. And
Yeah.
even when TikTok was getting banned, people had already found a new app. We're gonna find another place.
Yeah.
Like we're doing too good right now.
Or women develop. We should develop. You know, I'm shout out to all the women in STEM.
Oh my god, that reminds me.
Develop that app.
I watched this movie the other day called Swiped. It's a new film in 2025. The reason I watched it is because the main actor of Tell Me Lies, who's the psychopath, the horrible boyfriend, the cheater, him. Oh my god, he's so good in that show. I saw a TikTok how he's in this new film called Swiped, and where he also plays this really toxic, manipulative man.
Oh, really?
I was sold to watch it because he's so good at playing it. Oh my gosh, he's just on point. He's literally Johnny, but then in the movie world.
Johnny from Love Island
Yeah,
Games.
Johnny from Love Island Games. Like literally that. Because even Johnny, when I see him speak, I'm like, you're so good. I hate how good you are. You always have the right thing to say, and it's so like, oh. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. The point is, that movie was about a female creator in the tech industry who wanted to do something political, and she wanted to like basically use technology to like help provide like food and like drinks for people in like poorer countries. And then this guy was kind of like, bro, like you're not gonna make money, work for me, blah blah blah. So she works for him, and then they have to make this app, this dating app for online dating, and then she comes up with the name, and the name is Tinder. And I'm like, wait a minute, if they're name dropping like Tinder, that means like this must be a real story. And I look it up, and yes, this is a story based on the real history of Tinder. Tinder, the most known dating app, I never knew that it was actually a woman who invented the name, who came up with it, who did the marketing in college campuses, and the reason it got so big was because of her.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys did her completely dirty because she started dating the guy, which is the guy who was talking about, who's the boss, and then he ends up getting her fired, and she ends up losing all her rights for everything, and she ends up getting framed and publicly humiliated about it. And yeah, and she had to sign an NDA, so she couldn't speak on it because she fully got bashed everywhere, and she made money off the NDA, but obviously she got silenced. And to this day, there is no evidence that she came up with the name, but she is like, guys, I came up with the name, I came up with this whole plan on how to make it big. Us Tinder, I never knew this.
Oh.
And there was all these like dick pics that caused like a big problem for women, and men being like dirty, they didn't want to change that, blah blah blah. Like it was a whole thing. But she wasn't done. No, she continued to grow. She started her own dating app called Bumble.
Yes, I know that it was a woman who worked for Tinder.
Knew.
No, that I knew, but I didn't know this horrible story.
Yeah, it was horrible, and I never knew. And she made Bumble, and that's why it's called Bumble, because from bumblebees, and like in the beehives, the queen bees are what it's all about. It's all about women, and it's supposed to be like Tinder's for hookups, Bumble is for relationships, and it's also a very known dating app. And she became the first female self-made billionaire. So amazing! Shout out to her. And it was so fun. The movie was like, okay, it was like typical, like those corny 2025 movies or whatever. But it was fun to actually like learn the history about this dating app in such a simple way. So definitely recommend her.
Please,
to
girls,
female power.
apps, yeah.
Watch that movie just for that.
My youngest daughter,
I had no idea.
Her little sister had a great idea, even as a child, about an app that you can easily find parking spaces, a parking app. And guess what? It just came out. Not with her, but somebody, of course. So any idea you have, come on. And, you know, I'm, as a producer, I'm always looking to raise money to make projects.
Yeah.
There is a lot of money in the world. Really, 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 there is. You just, the more creative you get, the more, you know, maybe we'll do more episodes of that, or talk like to female business entrepreneurs to talk about finding ways to get money for ideas. But just know that there is money, and your creativity is your tool.
And yeah, and she never gave up. She never stopped, and
never gave up.
Now she thrives and has her own app and she took the girls from Tinder, who were also the only other two girls in the company. She took them with her. Amazing. And they thrived. And it was so interesting to learn about that, and how at first she was also carried away with this whole male validation, and the other girls who worked for her had to tell her, like, girl, wake up. Like, you're doing the same thing we hate. Yeah. Like, you're losing yourself. Like, how tempting it is. And basically, delete Tinder and download Bumble.
Hello, let us women be more homosocial. We have to become more homosocial. We said that before. Female friendships, we always reiterate that. Come on, let's be homosocial with each other. Mm-hmm. Okay? All right. It was so nice to talk to y'all. And as we always end our episodes, I love you, I love me, and we love y'all.